Spenser's Code, living like Spenser. Some people will tell you that chivalry is dead. Spenser would disagree. In the novel Early Autumn by Robert Parker, Spenser lives by the code of chivalry. From the day he meets Paul, Spenser shows him how to be chivalrous through his actions. Learning the code is part of growing up and being a good person. Today, we will show you how to live a life of honor and respect so you can be more like Spenser every day.
On this episode, manners and respect, loyalty, and standing up for others.
You can't go through life without respecting people and having manners. Manners make you a good man. Throughout the novel, Spenser creates a set of rules for Paul to follow to help him to become a better man. Since Spenser believes living by the code of chivalry will make someone a good man, most of the lessons he teaches stems from the code. One of the easiest ways to be a good person is to show respect to others. Actions revolving around respect and honor make up most of the code of chivalry. At one point, the code specifically states that one must respect women. Spenser strongly believes this. He treats the women in the story, especially Susan, with the utmost respect. When Patty tries to come on to Spenser, Spenser tells Patty that he is flattered that she offered, and that she should not consider it a negative on her that he declined. Spenser doesn't want Patty to take it as an offense that he declined, because the reason he did is that he is committed to Susan. He knows that to cheat on Susan would be to disrespect her. It is not uncommon to hear stories about some person who cheated on his wife or girlfriend. The cheater gets all sorts of labels, negative ones. They didn't treat the woman in their life with respect and end up losing the respect of the others around them. Spenser always shows respect to Susan, and even disciplines Paul when he speaks badly of her. Spenser tells Paul, "I know you don't know any better, but that's against the rules, speaking badly of another person's beloved. You know, I don't want you to speak ill of her." Nobody likes that one friend who walks down the hallway talking bad about their friend's girlfriend. It puts everybody in an awkward situation. Does the boyfriend defend his girlfriend? All that does is allow his friends to mock him for being whipped. Ultimately, nobody likes a friend who spends every moment making fun of other people's girlfriends. They're rude, annoying, and mostly disrespectful.
Another big part of manners is appropriateness. If you are not behaving correctly in a certain situation, that is disrespectful. The code of chivalry stresses that you are respectful to everyone, and you just can't be respectful without having proper manners. When Spenser first met Paul, Paul was a mess. He did not know how to properly talk to adults, which made him seem disrespectful to authority, which is condemned in the code of chivalry. A shrug is no way to communicate with someone who is trying to hold a conversation with you, especially an adult that is trying to help you. Also, he had no idea how to dress for a fancy restaurant or the theater. Knowing what to do in appropriate situations is a certain important step when growing up. That is why Spenser taught Paul appropriateness, doing things right. If you do not know how to appropriately behave in society, then you cannot succeed in life. If you can't succeed, then you can't reach your goals and will never self-actualize. Imagine going into an interview dressed in sweats and being rude to the interviewer. Even if you had the best resume in the country and were the most qualified for the job, there is no way you're getting it. Also, if you ever want to have a husband or wife, manners are key. There are certain ways to behave on a date, and if you're not appropriate, your date will probably ask to go to the bathroom and sneak out the window. Do you want to lose your future spouse because you're texting the whole day and chewing with your mouth open? As Spenser said, being appropriate is important. You never want to miss out on an opportunity because you are behaving inappropriately. In order to be a functioning and successful member of society, you have to have manners.
Nobody likes someone who doesn't stay true to their word.
If a person does not stay true to the word, then you can never trust them. The code of chivalry states that a person has to always state the truth and live with honor. There is no honor in not keeping your promises. Spenser always keeps his word and views it as a fundamental piece of being a good man. It is one of his most notable traits that Hawk comments on by saying, "One thing about old Spenser, he predictable. He say you're going to do something, he do it." Lying to someone, even once, no matter how small the lie is, immediately breaks all the trust a person has for you. That is one of the main reasons Spenser trusts Hawk so much. He may not be the greatest of guys, but he's always 100% dependable. Hawk didn't even know Paul, and he agreed to risk his life to save him, just because of the mutual respect he and Spenser have for each other. Some people believe that little white lies are necessary to stop feelings from getting hurt, but when has a lie actually worked out? It will always either spiral out of control or eventually the person finds out the truth. Then when the truth comes out, it's so much worse than if you just came clean from the beginning. If you just follow the code of chivalry and lived like Spenser, that would never happen. You might hurt a friend slightly, but in the long run they will always thank you for being truthful. Also, if you commit to an event like going to the movies, you have to go. I don't care if it's the most amazing thing came up, you cannot bail on your friends. The more you do not keep your word, the less your friends are going to invite you. They will feel like they are secondary choices and will never be able to depend on you. Staying true to your word is such an important part of being chivalrous. You can be the nicest person on the planet, but it does not matter if no one trusts
you. Not only do you have to stay loyal to others, but you also have to remain true to yourself. To do this, you have to create some sort of structure in your life. Spenser sets limits and rules for himself to keep this structure. It's a trade-off I make, he said. If I drink beer, I don't eat dessert. Spenser keeps structure in his life by setting rules for himself. He uses these rules to help himself stay true to the code of chivalry. Everyone needs rules in their life to help them stay true to themselves. In having rules, they define their values. To stay true and loyal to their true self, people have to follow the rules they set. Spenser understands this, which is why he sets so many rules for himself to follow. In living by these rules, he stays true and loyal to his true self.
You have to use your strength to protect people.
It's not enough to be strong. To be a good person, you must use your strength to help protect the weak and innocent. Throughout the story, Spenser protects Paul both psychologically and physically. Spenser tries to ease the pain of what Paul may learn about his parents when Spenser is going to go digging into their life. He tells Paul that he doesn't have to get involved and that Spenser will take care of it all himself. Paul responds by telling Spenser that he doesn't like his parents, so he won't care what he hears about them. In trying to brace Paul for the truth, Spenser says, "But remember, you probably will care. It probably will hurt. It's okay for it to hurt. Very sensible that it should." Spenser is used to hearing bad things about people, and he isn't emotionally connected to Patty and Mel as Paul is. Knowing the truth of what they're involved in wouldn't affect Spenser as much as it would affect Paul. Spenser knows this and tries to protect him by keeping him out of the investigation he's about to start. There is a certain bond between a child and their parents. There's nothing anyone can do about who their parents are, and there's no way to change it. Most people couldn't imagine looking into anyone, let alone the parents, the way Paul was about to. You want to see the best in people, which is why it's hard to hear and accept that not everybody is as great as they pretend to be. Although Paul is not close to his parents, it still could not have been easy for him to know all the terrible things his parents had done. In knowing that his parents did bad things, Paul must have wondered if he was going to end up the same way. The question of whether or not he was a good person may have bothered him his entire life if it hadn't been for Spenser. Spenser uses his strength and knowledge to protect Paul against ever having to ask that question. He taught Paul how to be a good person and gave him the tools necessary to succeed. Spenser tried to protect Paul from losing his innocence and learning about the bad things his parents did. And after Paul insisted he get involved, Spenser protected him against the pain that would come in wondering if he was a good man.
Like a knight, Spenser helps the innocent. He could have used his strength for personal gain, but rather uses it to help and protect those weaker than him. He is first hired to protect Paul, and rather than just do it for money, he genuinely cares about Paul's safety. This continues on to the bridge scene where he risks his life to get Patty back from Mel. Patty might not be a good mother or even a good person, but he follows the code and does everything in his power to get her back. His protective instinct is truly shown when Susan, Paul, and him are getting shot at. Spenser recounts the event saying, "I jumped at Paul and Susan, got my arms around both of them, and took them to the ground with me on top, scrambling to get us all behind the car." He risks his life and jumps on top of them. They're both innocent. The gunman is only targeting him, so he knows that's what he has to do to be a good man. Obviously, most people's cases are not as extreme as Spenser's, but you can still do small things to follow as part of the code. If a person is being bullied, don't just be a bystander. Go out there and stick up for the person who needs help. It may seem like something small, but it will have a huge impact on the person that you are protecting. Also, if you do something and someone else is getting blamed for it, you need to step up and take accountability. You know that person is innocent, and you can never be a good person if you let the innocent take the fall for something you did. Just fess up. You may be in trouble at the moment, but in the long run, everyone will respect you more, and you would have protected someone else from getting blamed. The weak and innocent don't deserve to get hurt, and that is why a good, chivalrous person goes out of the way to protect them. Spenser always makes sure that people around him, especially the ones he cares about, are protected, and so should you.
If you want to be a good man like Spenser, it's really not that hard. All you have to do is follow the code of chivalry. The code says to respect others, be loyal, and stand up for those who need it. In the novel Early Autumn by Robert Parker, Spenser lives by the code of chivalry and uses it to define what a good man is. Remember, manners maketh the man. Spenser's Code. Living like Spenser.